Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
We were never worried, were we, Obi?
No.
I mean, you should have seen the mad scramble.
I was working on my advance for tomorrow's game, and I didn't realize how late it was.
The music's playing, it's halfway through, and I just see, like, Obi's mic one place, the headset somewhere else, and we're like 10 seconds away. Anyway, welcome in, everybody. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Freaking Friday road trip coming up, buddy.
Yes, sir. I'll be heading out.
I'm excited.
I am too.
I just yelled.
I'm excited at the prospects of A&M winning at Notre Dame and ending that streak of futility against ranked opponents on the road.
Buddy. When or if, I'm going to be a very happy person because I'm ready to end streaks. There was a couple streaks that ended last year. We need more streaks to end.
We need more streaks to end.
And we need to
start a streak.
We need to start a streak.
Yeah, go streaking.
When's the last time you went streaking?
Oh, I don't know, a couple days.
Yeah, down Northgate.
Man, I won't even streak into my bathroom.
No?
No.
Well, people think you have underwear on. There's Velcro everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's...
Did you ever streak?
I've gotten skinny dipping, but never streaked.
Yeah,
sorry, was that TMI? You got kids listening. Anyway.
You know, I was alive when it became a fad. I was like in the 7th grade.
Streaking was a fad in the 70s?
Yeah.
Really?
That's when it started.
I thought it started whenever, what movie was that? Old School?
No, it was way before that. So anyway, get the Aggies in a streak and start a streak in South Bend, Indiana.
We'll get into predictions later. This whole week I've been in the same place. I just don't know. People, like, I've had a couple of people stop me. I've had a lot of kids sporting events like in the area. And what do you really think? Guys, I tell you the truth on the show. What I really think is I don't know what I think. I don't know. Can they beat Notre Dame? Yes. Will they? I hope. What are the reasons I'm not 100% all in? Well, I'd like to see what they do against big plays. I'd like to if I knew that a little bit better. Mm-hmm. If I knew that this pass rush that we saw last week was able to be effective against Notre Dame, because last year they weren't effective against Notre Dame with this pretty much same offensive line. I got some unknowns. What I do know is I think Marcel gives you a better chance to win that game over Connor. Not to make this a Connor Marcel thing. I just think with his legs, it opens up something. I think the playmakers that A&M has at the wide receiver spot make them multidimensional. And I just think it's hard to win on the road at night.
It is. It is hard to win on the road at night, especially against a ranked opponent, as we know. I think your, I don't want to use the word ignorance because that has a negative connotation, but your apprehension. I think that's actually a good thing because how many times have you seen A&M go on the road against a team and you're thinking, well, yeah, it's probably unlikely, but if they play this perfect game and they do this, and I don't think A&M has to play a perfect game to beat Notre Dame. I'm not sure A&M is not the most talented team in this game. Remember, Mike Elko told us earlier in the year that he thought they might have 10, 11 guys, and draftable guys on this team. I think you have to go out and play well. but I don't think you have to play a perfect game. So I think that the apprehension is understandable because Notre Dame is good, and because they're at home, and because historically you don't have a lot of success on the road against ranked opponents, or until last year, any opponents. But you have a real opportunity to win this game.
You do. You have an opportunity to win this game, and I think just with a little bit of offense last year, just a tad, sprinkle in like a little salt, right? Mm-hmm. Throw for more than 100 yards.
What if the pass to E.J. Smith on the first drive on third down that hit him in the hands was not a good pass?
Right.
So it could have been much better thrown. I think it was catchable, but it would have been a difficult catch. But what if they complete that catch that was right on the fingertips, and he takes them for a touchdown, and A&M goes up 7-0 instead of 3-0? Maybe, just maybe, that changes the game, because let's face it, I said before, it was tied with 2 minutes left in the game.
What if they tackled? Because Jadarian Price, we think about Jeremiah Love. Jadarian Price had a 47-yard touchdown and a 21-yard touchdown? No, Love had the 21-yard touchdown. They both had long runs that were for touchdowns. So, and I feel like that was such an, and maybe that's why I have apprehension, is because that was an issue last year, and it feels like it might still be an issue.
Right. And, with A&M and this streak they're on, this dubious streak, and sometimes they were just outclassed.
Yep.
Sometimes you got bad luck, like the punt that went out of bounds on the 1-yard line against Ole Miss that changed that game. And I know LSU wasn't ranked, but when Damani Richardson stole the ball on the punt, and it should have ended the game right there with an A&M win, but you end up giving up a 4th and 15 completion in the pass, or you're on the 2-yard line against Alabama with the fastest player in the country in your backfield, and you don't even let him factor into the play.
Right.
So you have bad referee officiating, bad coaching decisions, bad luck, and sometimes better teams than you. But they're not the better team. They're not the more talented team. If nothing else, I think the talent in this game is equal.
Yep, you're right. I just wanted to bring this up because I found it interesting. ESPN's FPI index, or whatever it's called, has these teams ahead of A&M. And I'm not complaining, by the way. I'm just making a statement. Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Auburn, and Missouri all ahead of A&M.
Okay.
Although A&M in the AP poll is ahead of several of those teams, including Alabama, Auburn, Ole Miss, and Missouri.
Well, I think A&M is better than Missouri, but I don't have an issue with that because Missouri has a win over a Power 4 team.
Yep.
That's not bad, Kansas. I think all those teams probably have a similar win. A&M, this is A&M's opportunity to get that win that thrusts you into national limelight.
Let's do 3 things we want to see. Brought to you by the Brazos Running Company, your local Aggie-owned specialty running store, where you can find Brooks On and Hoka shoes located at Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. OB, give me 3 things that you would like to see.
I want to see a very sound, effective run defense that doesn't give up a run longer than 20 yards. That's the absolute maximum. Because I understand they're going to get there.
Excellent running team.
I want to see Mike Elko with his but because of the run defense, I want to see C.J. Carr facing some obvious passing situations, and I want to see those blitzes and those packages that Mike Elko comes up that's going to confuse a young quarterback, and they're going to get to him and get some sacks. And then I want to see Marcel Reed play to Heisman contender level, run when it's there, use all of his skill set to be the player that I think he is.
Okay. I'm going to give you my 3 things.
All right, I want to hear them.
I want to see A&M allow modest numbers on the ground to Notre Dame, because Notre Dame's going to get their numbers, right?
They're going to get theirs.
Let's have them south of 150 yards.
Okay.
Because last year they rushed for 198 yards on A&M.
Okay.
So let's flip those numbers. A&M rushed for 146. Let's have A&M get the bulk of those numbers. Okay.
All right.
And that they may not have to because of their pass game this year, but let's do that. That's one. Two, I want cool, calm Florida Marcel. The Florida Marcel that we saw when he made his first start last year on the road. This, I think, same weekend last year. It was the third game of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that Marcel show up this weekend at Notre Dame with his new toys and his leadership and his, now he knows he's the guy.
His new confidence.
Right?
Yeah.
That's two. Here's three. Can we force two turnovers, please?
All right.
It is Captain Obvious, and that's one of my favorite terms, to, you got to win the turnover battle when you go on the road. But if you look at the games last year that they lost.
I think they had 2 interceptions in that game against Notre Dame last year.
Lost. Oh,
Lost.
Yeah. You got to win that, especially on the road. Win the turnover battle. And I'm going to give you a bonus couple of them, right?
All right.
Bonus, TOP, time of possession. Last year, you lost that by 3 minutes. Again, with no offense. Win the time of possession. And big game Mike. We know Coach Elko's got this ability to scheme up and coach up a team defensively. I'm ready to see it tomorrow.
I want to see him at his best.
I want to see him at his absolute. I want the people around the world and on Sports Center and SEC Nation like, did you see what Mike Elko just did? Wait up or whatever. Watch out.
Watch out. I've kind of suggested that too, right?
Yep.
Just differently. I have a lot of confidence in Mike Elko. And I do think that he's going to come up with some things that C.J. Carr's never seen before. Maybe none of us have ever seen before.
Let's hope so. Innovative defense. By the way, this is an innovative set. We're on a platform that we call the what? The holistic.
Oh, okay.
The platform.
Well, why are you throwing me curveballs? We always start with the.
We started with that already.
This is the holistic planning cool zone. It travels, and today it's traveled back here.
Yeah, it travels in such a comfortable place. Maybe we hang out here for a while.
I like this.
Yeah, we might do multiple segments from here. We may. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, there are multiple ways to do that. The easiest way will be to do what?
To call or text on the Buppy's Catering and
Bartending
hotline at 979-693-1150.
Do you think I'd be a good bartender?
Yeah, probably.
You think I would tell people there's too much sugar in that drink?
No, because if you do that, you lose your tips. You just give them what they want.
But I want to give them tips.
You would try to be that guy. You'd try to be that guy on Cocktail that's throwing the bottles around and everybody's like, I don't want to hear your poetry. Just give me a damn drink.
Yeah, that'd probably be me. You're right about that. Flexing. All right, let's go around the room. Say hi to the humans out there. We go left to right. Behind the glass is a fresh faded Nick Savage. Hello, Nick.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you, sir?
I'm great. One thing I want to see, kind of what you mentioned there at the end, David, I want to see maybe some early turnovers. I haven't gotten too many this year, but what if you get a first quarter takeaway, you're already up 7-0, and you're able to turn it into 14-0 or something like that. So early turnover, maybe in the first quarter, that would be huge.
I would love to see A&M get out to like a 28-point lead, and I just have to start working on my article, just relax, just plug quote in here, put the final score, and let's put it to bed, and let's get back to Chicago.
Yeah, that could be, that might be amazing.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Let's go to by the way, like if there was a stress-free road trip, dude.
Have we ever had one?
No. I mean, Florida was, I had the flu.
Yeah.
But stress-free, would be fantastic. We're enjoying the game, and we're actually having conversations about life. They're up 35-7. This is great.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen.
It's going to be close. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Mr. Nygren, how are you, sir?
Good morning. How are y'all?
Oh,
ready. Getting my game face on.
Do you really want to know how I am?
I'm coming for you.
Two things. I'm stuffy and I have a headache.
Okay.
See, I don't think you really. You just said that as a throwaway line, and I called you out on it.
No, I was expecting you to be like, I'm excited. I'm ready.
I already said that to start the show. I'm excited. Were you not listening?
I was.
But I have a headache.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've heard that from my wife just this week.
Well, you're a pain in her.
She's stuffy and has a headache.
All right, Reese.
This weekend, the Texas A&M men's tennis team opens the 25-26 season at the Waco Fall Kickoff Classic Friday through Sunday at the Herd Tennis Center. The men's tennis team is coming off of a trip to the Sweet 16 in the 2024-25 season where they lost to the eventual national champion Wake Forest.
Let's go get it done, guys. One more.
The soccer team opens its 14th SEC campaign when the Aggies host the number 24 Georgia Bulldogs tonight at 7:30 at Ellis Field. The Aggies enter the conference schedule with a 3-1-3 record with wins against Lamar, UConn, and Lafayette.
Their loss was last week against TCU. It was a very close match, and TCU is, I think, a top 10 team.
Number 4.
Number 4, yeah. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they get it done this
Went
week.
5 sets in Fort Worth.
Oh, you're volleyball. I was talking soccer.
Oh, where's the?
This is soccer.
My bad. Because volleyball lost too to TCU, right?
And
TCU's
SMU,
ranked,
yeah.
but they may not be ranked in the top 10.
Yeah, but as SMU,
I was kind of
TCU.
zoning out.
Yeah, I know. I zone out too. Sometimes I zone out when you say things.
I thought I heard TCU and a loss.
Yeah, and then you'll look at me like I just said that. I was like, oh yeah, that's what happened. All right, let's. I wish we were headed to Austin to fly out for Notre Dame because I know a great little place we could stop at. But we're going to Houston to fly out.
Right.
But let's just pretend we switch. Okay.
Yeah.
Somehow Jacob upstairs says, "Guys, I got you. Got you a flight out of Austin." And you have time to have lunch on your way to the airport. Where would we go?
Oh, that's a no-brainer. That's 1775.
Yeah.
Which I hope the score of this game is 75-17.
That would be great.
With A&M winning, of course.
Yes.
There's no way to start a road trip better than just, you're not even really out of town.
Yeah.
Just down, going towards just a little while. Not
Just
even
a
out.
little bit.
And it's just on the left, and you have that 1775
2
Texas
10 minutes.
barbecue.
Yeah. What I mean,
It's spectacular. That
succulent brisket.
Those amazing those amazing pork ribs and the jalapeno cheese sausage.
I was trying to guess what your next one
Yeah.
was.
And
I know
then, of course,
you're going to close out
queso
with
mac and cheese.
Queso mac and cheese.
See?
Yeah. I am Johnny 2 times.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Anyway, it is 1775txbbq.com. That's the website. You can call them up, 979-492-6241. It's 1775.
And it's good.
Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning. But they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free 99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas. It's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love Holistic Planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer.
Still hanging out here at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
The Cool Zone.
He's Olin Buchanan. I'm David Nuño. Great show for you, by the way. We got Craig James joining us at 8:35. The Pony Express. Talk about the award. He'll be joining us. It's about the best tandem in college football. Could an Aggie be on that list?
Well,
or a couple
you need
Aggies?
two of them,
yeah. And I think there's a couple combinations you can go with, OB.
I do too. I think I can think of 3 potentially.
I don't know if quarterback's allowed to be on that one. I forget.
Well, passing combination.
Yeah, you got Craver, KC.
Craver and KC as receiver, or
Le'Veon
and Ruben.
Le'Veon and KC.
Maybe. Well, how's that a tandem?
Because they're both. Because it's based on Eric Dickerson and Craig James.
So we're both running backs.
They're both running backs. Yes, good point. Yeah.
But if you're both receivers, or the connection between a quarterback and a receiver, like Johnny Manziel and Mike Evans,
that's
would have been amazing.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know how that would work.
Or maybe it's 2 defensive ends.
Maybe it's 2 defensive ends.
Yeah.
Let's ask them. We'll talk about that. Let's do our pick 6 presented by Prize Picks.
I was miserable last week. 1-5.
I don't know what I did okay. I probably won it.
I was miserable.
PrizePicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. Daily fantasy sports. Reese Nygren, did I do well?
You're 6-6 so far.
Oh. But last week I think I did 4-2.
I don't have the last week
You should do some research next time. Yeah, especially when
believe me, he went 4-2 because he knows.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, the first game up, number 12, Clemson on upset alert as they head to Bobby Dodd Stadium to take on Georgia Tech at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Clemson is 3.5-point favorites.
Clemson has won 9 straight against Georgia Tech. I think Haynes King's injury situation isn't that big of a deal, but something to look out for. Mm-hmm. And I think all this talk of Clemson looking horrible, they might be a bad team. But I don't think they're as bad as what we saw last week. I think they're going to go and roll against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I want Haynes King to be really successful, but I'm taking Clemson. I mean, how many times have we seen it that Clemson, people are bearing them early because they do Clemson things, and then they get an ACC play and are the class of the league. Yep. So I'd take Clemson as well.
Yep, agree.
Next up, Diego Pavia heads to Williams-Brice Stadium at night to take on number 11 South Carolina. At 6:45 on Saturday, South Carolina 5.5-point favorites over Vanderbilt.
You said at night. That makes it easy for me, OB.
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt's look like the better team.
They have, and Pavia looked like the better quarterback.
But I'm gonna take South Carolina at night. That's a hard place to win at night, as we know.
I agree.
And if I get the L on this one, I might enjoy it.
Yeah. By the way, Vanderbilt's offense tied for 8th best among FBS offenses with 20-plus yard passes.
So here's what, who's the key figure in this game for Vanderbilt? And I don't even know his name.
Who's it?
The punter. Get a lot of hang time. They've got a guy at South Carolina, I can't think of his name right now. Already returned 3 punts for touchdowns.
Oh, that's right. He did it in game 1, and it changed that game.
Right, and then 2 last week. So, I mean, there wasn't anybody, no team, no individual in the country has had 3 punt returns for a touchdown in like the last 6 years.
Yeah.
And this guy's already done it in 2 games.
Yep.
And I can't think of his name right now.
Nygren, come on.
A big one at Neyland Stadium is number 15 Tennessee hosts number 6 Georgia at 2:30 on Saturday. Georgia is 3.5-point favorites.
Call me the favorite because I'm going with the favorite so far. Anytime we start to doubt Georgia,
right?
They get one of these kind of marquee wins. I think Tennessee has not beat them since 2016. Okay, it's been a minute, and I just think eventually this cool story of Joey Aguilar cannot continue to be like this. Maybe he is a gunslinger, and we'll find out. But Kirby Smart on the road, where they've had success. I think until Georgia proves me otherwise, I'm going with Georgia.
Yeah, and I don't know how good Tennessee is because I don't know how good Syracuse is, and you're supposed to destroy East Tennessee. But if you're Georgia, you're supposed to run up and down the field on Austin Peay. It's one guy.
Yeah.
But I'm with you in what you said about it. It's not. But if you look at the teams, you probably think Tennessee looks better right now.
Yeah.
They're at home, but it's the coach.
Yeah.
And I'm going with Kirby Smart. But I sure wish the line was 2.5. and not 3.5. Those Vegas guys, they're kind of sneaky on that.
Well, by the way, here's a couple of things for you. Georgia has gone 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games, and 0-7 in September games over the last couple of years.
It's probably not smart, but I'm going with Kirby.
All right, let's move to the next one.
Next up, number 17, Ole Miss plays host to Arkansas at 6 o'clock at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Ole Miss is 7.5-point favorites.
I'm struggling with this one, OB, because
Arkansas looks good.
But do they?
Right.
But here look, so I went and compared
You can't look good shadow boxing.
Actually, my shadow boxing is kind of awkward. I'm a better fighter. But Taylor Green, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. That looks fantastic. And I was like, but didn't he look fantastic at the start of last year? I went back and looked the first 2 games.
And he was fantastic.
No. I mean, he was good. He threw 3 touchdowns and a pick last year at the same point.
Probably played better opponents.
So I'm going to say that I think that's a big number for Ole Miss, 7.5. I'm not in the whole quarterback, Austin injury.
Simmons?
Yeah.
Is he hurt?
Well, he got hurt at the end of the game last week, did not return. I'm just going to use that as a speculation, right?
A reason to take.
A reason to. I think Ole Miss is going to win the game, but I think maybe that 7.5, that half, changes me.
Yeah, I know. It's like the Vegas guy. I'm hard headed.
Okay,
and so I'm gonna take Kiffin.
Kiffin, the future coach of Florida.
The future Florida Gators coach.
I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah. But
he's pretty good.
I could see it happen.
All right, Niagara.
Speaking of the Florida Gators, they head to Death Valley at 6:30 on Saturday to face number 3 LSU. LSU is 7.5-point favorites.
I'm struggling with this one because everything tells me LSU should curb stomp this Florida Gators team. I think this is where we find out if that team rallies around their coach because they have such a hard schedule. If they lose this one as well, the season's basically lost in their eyes with what's still ahead. I think they're going to keep it close. I think Florida keeps it within a touchdown and they end up losing.
I'm going to take LSU and give the points. You know, we talked about South Carolina at night.
Mm-hmm. LSU at night, it's a different animal.
Yeah, so I'm going to, it's a tiger. So I'm going to take LSU at night.
And then lastly, the game that we have been waiting all week for, the number 16 Texas A&M Aggies head to Notre Dame Stadium to face number 8 Notre Dame at 6:30 on Saturday. Notre Dame is 6.5-point favorites.
You can't.
Why can't we get that extra point like everybody else?
I know, right? I'm going to give this one to you.
All right. Give me the Aggies in the points. Now, I got to tell you what, I'm 0-2 with the Aggies.
Yeah.
But I gave the points in the last 2 my losses. And they go up with late scores.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the king of bad beats. We'll talk about Eli Drinkwitz later. I'm going to take the Aggies and give me the points.
Okay. Do you think the Aggies are going to win?
I think they can. The only reason I won't take the Aggies is because they've got to show me, and I know it's different players, but this program, different coach, all those things, but this program has to show me that they can win on this kind of game on the road.
Yeah. I'm going to take A&M. I don't think we're winning this game right now. For picking purposes, I'm going to take A&M, and I'm going to hope that we answer some questions, and then it will make it much easier to pick. And I'm going to remind folks, a couple years ago, I've told the story before, I picked Tennessee to beat A&M on the road.
You did.
And
Tennessee won.
Tennessee won. I was correct. But I got some hate messages like, how dare you go again? I'm just, until you prove to me otherwise, it's hard for me.
I get it.
But I do think of all the games we've seen over the last couple of years that I've struggled with, this is the one that I'm struggling with more because I think they should.
I feel your pain. When I break it down, I keep coming up. A&M's going to win this game. And then I say, snap out of it. Snap out of it. They got it. You can't just assume, snap out of it. But I keep looking at it, and I'm like, hey, Miami ran the ball pretty well. If Miami can run on you, A&M's going to run on you.
Yeah.
Snap out of it. By the way,
a big handprint there.
By the way, A&M, you probably would have been wrong on that Tennessee call if the coach would have come up with some like real creative offensive plays like a quarterback sneak.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
Snap out of it.
I mean, you're going to knock yourself out.
I try to knock myself out on everything.
When we come back on TexAgs Live,
when we snap out of it,
Craig James will be joining us. We'll chit-chat with him. All right, right now, if you're headed to South Bend this week, and I heard there's a lot of Aggies in Chicago, you need to watch the Aggies beat the hell out of Notre Dame. Join the Association of Former Students at Yale practice later on today, 10 o'clock Eastern time, at Island Park at Century Center, not Century Square, Century Center. That's 10 p.m. South Bend time. There's a community concert planned before Yale practice, and the band is playing and is set to go off the stage at 9:20. You can meet the Yale leaders. You can join the Aggie camaraderie and get ready for the Aggies to beat the hell out of the Irish. There are no tickets required. Just come out and be part of the Aggie spirit. Again, Yale practice will be this Friday, September the 12th. That's today, by the way. I think you guys know that. 10 p.m. South Bend time at Island Park at Century Center. To learn more about the association's away game activity list, visit tx.ag/away games. All right, this is going to be a fun segment. Let's go to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Our guest today is Craig James, the former SMU running back, who alongside Eric Dickerson formed the legendary Pony Express. Together, they've created the Pony Express Award to honor the best teammate tandems in college football, celebrating teamwork and the we mentality in the era that often emphasizes individual achievements. With that, Craig James, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Good to be with you guys.
So happy to have you here on the show. So just kind of help me understand where the idea came from, why this award became a thing.
Well, Eric and I have remained friends for almost 50 years now, and since we met really in high school, and the fact that we were able to go through and compete at a high level and create this Pony Express that people talk about all the time, we said let's create this award that recognizes the nation's top tandem, and it can be two defensive backs, it can be two linebackers, two offensive linemen. It's a tandem. It's working together. It is like you said, it's a we award in a me era, and so we feel like with SMU coming back, getting into a prominent conference to where they're relevant again. There's been so much attention on the Pony Express. Eric and I thought let's create this award and recognize players around the country.
That's interesting. Do you ever remember a tandem as prolific as you and Eric were?
Well, there have been good tandems throughout college football history, and especially when you consider and you open it up to other positions, not just the running back position. There have been great tandems. We hear about, the Thurman Thomas. You hear about the guys that were at Georgia. There have been a lot of good ones that Eric and I have been a part of debating over the years. But the one thing about the Pony Express is it's a unique name. It was at a time that was really prominent, and it was the Southwest Conference was the Southwest Conference. It was the best deal going at that time. And Eric and I marvel at, over the years, how much fan mail we get, how much recognition we get, and talk about the Pony Express. Eric used to say, hey, I own the single season NFL rushing record, and people want to talk about the Pony Express, And so we thought that it was a great time for this all to come together.
Well, let's come up with some potential candidates on the A&M side of things. Marcel Reed and maybe one of his wide receivers, maybe KC and Mario. Just talk a little bit about what you've seen from A&M and maybe a couple of those tandems.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about this award in this era of transferring is you don't know who everybody has. And we said in our first little episode that we produced back a few weeks ago, we won't really know who the candidates are until probably October the 1st. SMU, for instance, last year had a couple of guys for Shard Smith at running back. He was a wide receiver when the year started. He ends up being a 1,000-yard rusher. He was a candidate. So these guys who transferred in, Concepcion, Carver, those guys are really good. They've had a great start. Is it Marcel Reed, though, and one of those guys? Or is it just the two wide receivers? It takes time. It takes games like A&M is playing this weekend against Notre Dame with a big stage to find out really who are these guys. And so it's too early to find out now and to nail down certain candidates.
A&M might be facing potential winners this week with the running backs up at Notre Dame with Jeremiah Love and Janarian Price.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard that. Actually, we started getting information that comes to us about candidates' possibility. I think it's a great chance, though, for A&M to go up there and challenge a running game. Football, it has not really changed since they started the game. It's running, it's tackling, it's blocking, it's covering a zone, or it's playing man-to-man. If you can't run and block and tackle, you can't play football. And the running game is the foundation for greatness for any team, any era. And so for the Aggies, I look forward to seeing how A&M plays on defense against that running tandem that you just mentioned. This is a chance for the Aggies to find out what they have for this season.
Our mutual friend Rob sent me an email and said your daughter went to A&M, so you know a little bit about A&M and the beauty of Kyle Field.
Are you kidding me? My daughter, my wife and I, we turned into Aggies, especially during that wilderness run when we had nobody to go cheer for in Dallas. I'd always come down and I'd go to usually one game a year there in College Station. We love the Aggies. We are a conflicted house. We have Red Raiders, we have a Mustang, and we have an Aggie, and so we do a lot of cheering.
Craig, people criticize the Heisman Trophy, right, for being just an offensive award, and now, even though it hasn't always been the case recently, but now typically a quarterback award. So Are you concerned at all that your award, that this award may be get pigeonholed or typecast into being a running backs award because that's how people are going to think about the Pony Express?
Yeah, and I think it's going to take time for us to make sure we really define that it is a tandem, that you can really be a different position. Last year, one of the finalist groups, they were linebacker tandem out of the University of Buffalo. They were number 1 and number 2 in tackles throughout the country. I don't remember their names, but the last year's selection committee, they were the 7 team captains for SMU. This year, we're expanding that to where we're starting to bring players in from around the country who vote on the award. So I'm hopeful that we can define early on that it's not Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter won it last year. Okay. And so they weren't a running back tandem. And so it's just a matter of awareness. Guys, nobody knows about this award. We're trying to bring it out now and start talking about it.
Yeah, Travis Hunter could have won it by himself. You know, hey, the best tandem of quarterback and receiver.
Me, myself, and I.
Hey, Craig, before I let you go, what do you think about this year's college football landscape? Like, I personally don't know if there's that alpha team out there in college football. Maybe it is Ohio State. Maybe it's Georgia like usual. But it feels like it's setting up to be one of the most competitive years.
I did it for 20-something years covering it, and it was pretty predictable. I mean, I walk around now, I've got a cheat sheet trying to remember who are the names, where did they go? These guys, we got receivers from North Carolina State, Mississippi State playing at Texas A&M now. So when I watched Ohio State play the other day, and their dominance on defense, their culture that they've established there, you have to have a culture in your locker room, it's hard to create a team atmosphere overnight. Belichick with those 70 new players on his roster. How in the world, you can't be a football team overnight. It takes time. It's magic. It's lightning in a bottle. What Castellanos did at quarterback for Florida State, they go from the laughing stock to maybe they're a legitimate team. So this culture that we have, and how you have a head coach who can find overnight the way to make it important in that locker room and to create a team atmosphere. That's the key to college football. Everybody's got 4- and 5-star players, not everybody, but a lot of people have good players. How do you create this team? I just don't know. I would right now say Ohio State is the team for me, but that's a long season. They've got to carry that, right? It's a long time and a big time conference.
Hey, Craig, let me put you on the spot right quick. And since you say you got Mustangs, Red Raiders, and Aggies in your house, which one of those people in your house is going to have the best chance of seeing their team get into the playoff this year?
Wow. I think the Aggies, because you're in the conference that's really hard. That's going to be the tough schedule that you've got coming up just in front of you, Auburn, and it's a gauntlet. That's a tough one. I think Texas Tech probably has a better chance than anyone because it's such an open. If Morton Barron's their quarterback can stay healthy, they've got playmakers. I think the Red Raiders might have a chance to really compete for the Big 12 championship.
Hey, Craig, I appreciate the time here on the show. So where can folks find out more information on the Pony Express Award?
All right. Thank you very much for asking that. ThePonyExpressAward.com. ThePonyExpressAward.com. And we create weekly shows, and we're starting to create content.
So happy to have him here on the show. Duck Camp. Oh, look at that.
You got the Duck Camp shirt on.
Duck Camp, look at that. You like
Again, if it makes me look good, it can imagine what it can do for you.
I mean, could you imagine Craig James in a Duck Camp shirt?
Probably look a lot better than me.
Yeah.
Reese would look a lot better.
There's not a lot of probably to it.
I can't think of anybody that wouldn't look better than me.
No, there's got to be somebody.
Plansky would look better than me.
Yeah, but that's just because.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, hoodies. You're not a big hoodie guy.
I have a hoodie at the house that I haven't worn yet.
Okay.
But I'm waiting for it to.
Did you bring it for the weather for Chicago?
No, because it's that great Duck Camp hoodie that can be a little bit airy, and so even if it's hot outside, you can wear it and not feel uncomfortable.
I forgot a jacket. Do you think I'm going to regret it?
Yeah, but we're going to have time to go get something.
Okay. By the way, check out duckcamp.com. Don't get, I don't think they have jackets, but they have hoodies. They got it all. Duckcamp.com, built for the outdoors, designed for everything else.
Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Our buddy Derm Doc is already on the road. He says, for Nuño, the 7-year-old just did 11-minute miles on the hotel treadmill.
Okay.
Miles, plural. He did more than one.
All right. So
get it done.
So he went 2 miles in 22 minutes.
Yeah, good for him.
Or maybe he went 3 miles in 33 minutes.
Maybe he did more. The
6
Derm?
hours, 6 miles, and 66 minutes.
Dr. Derm, he's going to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, he's earned it.
And he's already told me, eat a burger if you want a burger. Don't worry about it. We're all going to die anyway.
Yeah, I'd still like to look good in my,
I enjoy it. Anyway, let's bank on it, shall we?
I don't. Yes, let's bank on it.
Here's my bank.
All
Or
right.
do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
Le'Veon Moss is going to outrush Jadarian Price and or Jeremiah Love. I'm saying individually, his numbers will be more. I'm not saying his numbers will be more than both of theirs.
Right.
I'm saying his numbers will be the high running back in the game.
All right.
That's what I'm banking on.
Okay. I can see that happening. But here's what I'm going to bank on. Look, I said it all off season. I'd be kind of a wimp if I backed off now.
Yep.
Right? Be very disingenuous. all off season, I said, I believe in Marcel Reed. And I think he's going to be an exceptional quarterback. And you can't be an exceptional quarterback unless you play at a high level in games like this. So I'm looking for Marcel Reed to account for at least 3 touchdowns and over 300 yards of offense.
You're thinking they're going to win then? If he does that, they win, right?
Yeah, if he does that and the defense keeps Love and Price in check.
Okay. Let's go to Reese Nygren at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. The premium chat has got Ag Engineering 12 with 39 messages in a row that I think is worthy of listening to. So go ahead.
Yeah, Ag Engineer he's excited for tomorrow's game. He's all on board with the Aggies. He said not only did Notre Dame have a good bit of turnover on their defensive line and secondary, their stud defensive coordinator Al Golden from last year now has left for the NFL to go to Cincinnati. He said, I think we're just scared because we haven't won a game like this in a long time, and a lot of Aggies are just convinced we're cursed. It is difficult to argue against someone with BAS when they are convinced we are going to lose because of divine intervention.
So mine is not a BAS. Maybe it is. I don't see it that way. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed. Somebody talked about it on the YouTube page. I haven't talked about next year Nuño at all. I'm not at next year Nuño. I'm not there. I'm right now Nuño.
Right now Nuño.
And I think we're going to learn so much about this team, then I can formulate my next year Nuño or this year Nuño, right? Because this is the game where we get to see if the entire offseason and everything we've talked about, if we were able to push certain buttons to correct major glaring issues. If they fix those major glaring issues, then I don't see why this team can't go 10-2. But I still have those questions until I see it.
All that I agree with. I do wish A&M had been able to play Notre Dame in the first game. Like they did last year, because I think it would have been to A&M's advantage. But I think A&M, like I said, they are at least as talented as Notre Dame. I truly believe that. Are you going to take care of the ball? Are you going to avoid the big, loud penalties? Are you going to avoid missing the tackle that, again, turns into a long run? All those things are absolutely reasons to be concerned, but I'm going there with the idea that I'm not saying I expect A&M to win, but I sure don't expect them to lose.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that may not be the answer everybody wants, right? They want us to be definitive. I just don't know, and I hope I know a lot about this team in a good way Saturday night.
I won't be surprised either way, but I feel good about A&M. Snap out of it.
Do that again. I like when you
keep looking at them and saying, man, I break it down. I said, this looks, A&M's going to win. And I say, snap out of it. You can't assume.
It's like when that guy tries to approach the girl that's out of his league and he's like, I got her. And then snap out of it. No, I don't.
But I got her.
Yeah, you did. And hopefully the Aggies do too. When we come back, SEC Mike will say something that, of course, isn't controversial at all. I'm sure that's next on TexAgs Live. Just another pleasant conversation with our buddy SEC Michael Bratton on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We go straight to there. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, doing great, David. Another weekend of SEC action right around the corner. I couldn't be better.
So I actually didn't see it, but I was just told a moment ago that you're leaning towards A&M. Is that right? This weekend?
Oh, yeah. Well, I am. I don't know if that's good news or not based on my predictions so far this season. But, yeah, I like Texas A&M. And, I was thinking about this, David. That was, I think, a critical game for Notre Dame last year to kind of propel them to the national championship. And I think it very well could do the same for Texas A&M. Again, national championship, maybe that's a bit much. But I think if they win this game, I think they're making the college football playoff. I picked A&M to make the playoff in the preseason. I'll just say I'll be feeling great about that if they could get this win at Notre Dame Saturday night.
So this is what I've been wrestling with, Mike. I've been wrestling with, I don't know enough about A&M yet based on this season. I think I know some things. Like, I'm fairly sure Casey and Mario and Terry Bussey and Ashley Bethel-Roman can do what they do against most defenses, right? And I recognize it's going to be the best secondary they play all year long. I think I know Marcel is a really good quarterback. I know Le'Veon Moss and company can run. I know that offensive line can do things. What I don't know is, can they stop big plays defensively? Can they get after the quarterback? They did it last week, but I'm saying against a quality Notre Dame team that they weren't able to get after last week. Can they limit that Notre Dame run attack? And, can this offense actually score points against elite defenses? So I'm kind of like, I feel good, but then I'm like, but wait. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think it's even compounded in this matchup, David, because Notre Dame's only played the one game. So it's kind of hard to evaluate them. It wasn't, of course, against Miami, as your audience knows, but, they looked solid. I think they're a legitimate team, no doubt. But I think their reputation is largely built on what they did last year. And this is a completely different Notre Dame team with a different defensive coordinator, and they're dead last in the country. I know they've only played one game, so I look at average tackles for loss per game. They've only had 2 tackles for loss, Notre Dame has. So that, again, not looking total. We're looking at average here. That's dead last in the country. So as long as Marcel Reed has time, and based on that statistic, I think he will, I think he'll have plenty of time with all the weapons he has to kind of pick apart this Notre Dame defense, which is under a new defensive coordinator. Their last defensive coordinator is now coaching in the NFL. So I think, my biggest concern for this is just how good is A&M's defense. I don't think they've been bad, but I think they've been inconsistent kind of through two games. So if they can limit Notre Dame, I think to under, 24 points, I think they're going to win this game.
Isn't this game a recipe of big game Mike, right? When you think of what Mike Elko's been able to do in his career, he dials up these games, right? He did it at Duke. He did it at A&M. He did it at Notre Dame and other stops. We're like, this is one of those games that's on national TV. You're like, see, this is what we've been talking about. This is what Mike Elko does. And I feel like this is a golden opportunity for that.
Yeah, no doubt. And, now the beautiful thing, they're going to have many more of those with the SEC slate they have. But, yeah, you're absolutely right. And just the connections he's got to Notre Dame. He's played him also at Duke. Just the history here is pretty interesting. And then obviously last season as well. So, given the upcoming slate, we all know how difficult it is to win on the road in the Southeastern Conference. Texas A&M knows that as well as anybody. That's why I think this game's so important with road trips. I believe, if I have this correct, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri, and Texas, of course. Now, Texas, I don't think has looked as good as people said they would, but I would say the other 3 teams I just referenced, Arkansas, Missouri, and LSU, I think they've looked better than anticipated. So are you realistically going to go 3-1 in those road matchups? Probably not. So that's why I think this game is so big on Saturday. You split those other 4 road trips, you split them. I think A&M's going to the college football playoff.
Mike, let's play out both scenarios. You kind of played out one. If they win this game, they should be on their way. Let's just say they do win this game. Kind of take me through that route. And then if they lose this game, and it's kind of similar to last year, maybe not the same storylines, but, they lose by 7 or 10 points. Just kind of take me down both paths, how you think the rest of the season could play out.
Yeah, well, if A&M loses, then I'll probably come out here next week and say, you know what, Notre Dame, they're legit. They're a top 5 team. Who cares? Anybody would lose to that spot, right? So, that would be the silver lining there. But I don't know. I think it would be a tough rebound. Now, that is the beauty of the 12-team playoff, to where one loss doesn't eliminate you from anything. Heck, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois last year, and they bounced back, but they didn't have to go through the SEC gauntlet that A&M has to go through. So, I think if A&M loses this game, I hate to say it, David, but I think nationally it's just going to be same old, same old. Aggie's going to go 8-4. That's going to be the perception. You got to win these big games to turn that corner. Like you're saying, be Big Mike here in these big time slots. This is how you earn that respect. This is how you prove that Mike Elko has made tremendous strides in year 2 in College Station. I think there's a lot on the line here.
In your opinion, is Miami as good as their rank? And I'm going to get back to Notre Dame through this questioning, but is it possible that Miami's maybe not that good, so Notre Dame is maybe not that good? Or do you think, no, Miami's that good regardless of the ACC?
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair question, and I wish I had the answer for you. I don't particularly watch a lot of Miami football, but I did watch them in the opener just because I knew this A&M game was coming up, and Arkansas is also playing Notre Dame, so I was kind of very curious about Notre Dame. But yeah, I mean, I think we can make that argument for a lot of people, including Clemson, they're propping up LSU right now, and then Clemson turned around and they didn't look very good against, I believe it was Troy. So I mean, it's a mistake to kind of go too heavy into one game, but I don't have a ton of respect for Mario Cristobal, the head coach. I got a lot of respect for Mario Cristobal, the recruiter, but I do like Carson Beck as well, and he looked good in the game I saw against Notre Dame. So if they got that talent, they got the quarterback, I think Miami's going to be pretty good just based on the one game that I've seen.
All right, let's play out both scenarios, Mike, if you don't mind. A couple other scenarios. If Florida goes to Baton Rouge, beats LSU, okay, so that's one part of it. The other part is, all right, Miami, they lose to USF. So then, what does that mean about college football? What does that mean about Billy Napier? And then, of course, I'm going to come bring it right back to the A&M Notre Dame game. What is that, maybe the ripple effects of all this?
Yeah, that's fascinating, isn't it? Because someone asked me that exact question on the show this week, David. Maybe I don't think it's a rush to judgment on Billy Napier his entire tenure, but maybe this season, maybe South Florida is a dynamic team that is going to be that G5 playoff team. They certainly look like it after beating Florida. If they beat Miami, I won't call them a lock, but I mean, there's no one else, to my knowledge, in contention that has a better resume than that out of the G5 at least. So, and I certainly think Florida is going to play a lot better this week, and they may very well beat LSU. I'm picking LSU to win, but wouldn't stun me at all. I like Florida in the points in that one. Maybe Billy's not quite done. And if you go back and actually watch that Florida game, I know this is going to sound like excuses, but they had that thing. I mean, it's penalty after penalty. Open touchdowns were there to be made. They were not getting made. I don't think that's a sign of a bad team, other than the spitting was egregious. That should never have happened. But aside from that, I really don't think Florida's as bad as they looked last week, but maybe that's because I hyped them up all off season and they're making me look like a fool once again.
Mike, I want to go back to an original point you made earlier, that maybe Texas, Clemson, Notre Dame, maybe these teams aren't as good, but maybe Arkansas is better than we really thought. Maybe, Ole Miss isn't taking the step back that everybody's talked about. Like these other teams that, and some of the teams that A&M is going to play. Missouri, people had forgotten about them. Then they look to be legitimate, at least on the offensive side. Maybe those top-tier teams aren't as good as we thought, but really good still. And those maybe middle to lower-tier teams aren't as bad as we thought. And it's just going to make everything even more Armageddon in the SEC.
Yeah, I think that could very well be the case, David. And I'm calling this SEC hangover Saturday, because after 2 weeks, I'm sensing a theme here where I don't know. I can't pinpoint it exactly. I don't know if it's the portal. I think that's a big part of it, but just the fact that it's so hard to build. You know, it used to be college football, you'd build a roster and then you'd hope a lot of these juniors and seniors hit at the right time and you have a special team. Now it's, you know, as soon as your star players leave, you kind of just replace them via the portal. It's made it, in my mind, very difficult to have these teams that are consistent. Maybe that's the best way to say it. And that's why I'm calling it Hangover Saturday, because I think there's going to be teams like Oklahoma, who just got a huge win against Michigan. Now they're playing up at Temple. I think they're going to struggle is probably the wrong word, but I don't think they're going to cover. Missouri's playing Louisiana after a huge win for them over Kansas. I think they're going to struggle to at least cover. And we saw that with Alabama, struggled against Florida State, looked like $1 million against ULM. You know, there's LSU. LSU beat Clemson. They look like they could win the national championship. They could have lost to Louisiana Tech. That was an ugly, ugly showing. South Carolina last week. I mean, I could go on and on. I'm just sensing a theme here, David, where I think consistency week in and week out is going to be very difficult to achieve. And I think that's just the state of college football right now.
Mike, let's do our weekly conversation on quarterback rankings, if you don't mind. This is always a fun topic. Taylor Green, I think he's number one right now. And I look at his numbers. They are fantastic. I know they haven't played anybody yet, and they're about to. But he's thrown, 10 touchdowns to start this year, only one interception. Last year, the entire year, where I thought he was pretty good, he threw 15 touchdowns. So talk to me about what you've seen from Taylor Green that has propelled him beyond just the numbers itself.
Yeah, I mean, you just watch him, and he's just like, I don't know how to say it, but I just called him, like the biggest freak in the world, and I mean that as a compliment, because he's not only does he have the physical traits, but he's got command now of this Bobby Petrino offense. I don't know how much of that Arkansas State game you watch, and I would forgive you if you didn't watch it, because it wasn't televised other than the Plus, ESPN Plus and all that. But at one point, David, in that game, he had 2 rushes for 101 yards. And meanwhile, I believe he had 2 passing touchdowns by that time as well. So, I mean, he is just on another planet when it comes to physicality and just I don't know how to explain it other than he reminds me a lot of Vince Young. That's kind of what I was calling him in the offseason. I think he's the closest thing we have seen since Vince Young in college football. I think he's that good. I mean, I don't think it's debatable that he's the most gifted quarterback after 2 weeks in the SEC.
What did Marcel do last week that caught your attention? Because you certainly tweeted about hey, look at this rise from Marcel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he was. I mean, same old, same old. I think of the returning quarterbacks in the conference, I don't think there's a quarterback that has taken his game up to a higher level than Marcel Reed. So now they're getting other receivers involved, and it's beautiful. They're getting the run. They got the run game going last week, and what does that do? That suckers people into, I believe that it was a fake to Concepcion, I think, and then Terry Bussey's, guess what? He's wide open. I mean, this is a perfect compliment. That's why I wanted to see the running game. I don't think we have to force the issue with Marcel. Be dominant on the ground game. Get those defenses to kind of suck in a little bit. Hit them over the top. Look like $1 million once again. I still would like to see him run a little less, particularly against UTSA and Utah States of the world, because they're going to need him probably in Notre Dame to run quite a bit. So maybe tailor that back a little bit, but he just continues to progress as a passer. And I mean, he makes this A&M offense just so complimentary. It's going to make it really tough to stop, and why I think they're going to have a lot of success this weekend against Notre Dame's defense.
Mike, if the South Carolina game with Vanderbilt was anywhere else, I might take Vanderbilt, because I think that Pavia's looked like the better quarterback through 2 games. And that's not saying a lot, because Pavia was really good last year, but Lenore Sellers, still good, and Nicholas Harbor looks to be better. I haven't been impressed so far, yet this weekend I expect to be impressed. Where are you on that?
Well, I think you almost had it, but I think you should trust your instincts, David. I'm going Vanderbilt to get the big win on the road, and you nailed it. I mean, I don't know Pavia if there's a more efficient quarterback right now in the Southeastern Conference. I mean, he's doing everything. He looks like $1 million, and their resume is nearly identical to South Carolina. So you can't say, one's played an easy schedule, one's played a tough. They played the same Power 4 team in Virginia Tech. Diego Pavia looked like $1 million. Lenore Sellers was largely inconsistent. And, maybe this isn't all on Sellers, but I think it's on South Carolina and their offensive line, which has really performed poorly so far this season. Sellers been sacked 6 times. And again, they just played South Carolina State, and they were getting lit up too. Those 6 sacks, more sacks than any Southeastern Conference team has given up this season. So I like Diego Pavia. He's exactly like you said. He's playing better. He's got better weapons around him, better running back, better receivers. And I think Eli Sauer is the best tight end in America. It may be a shocking result to some. I don't even think it's an upset. I think Vanderbilt's a better team right now.
You know what hurts about what you just said? I remember having that same conversation about Lenore Sellers a year ago, where he was getting sacked left and right, and then A&M didn't sack him at all, and it was like Tecmo Bowl. Hey, Auburn, are they for real? They seem for real, right? They seem for real, but are you buying that they're for real?
No, not really, not yet. Again, I've trashed Hugh Freeze to no end, so I want to give him his praise. They've won the big, I think it's the biggest win of his Auburn tenure when they beat Baylor on the road. So we got to give him credit for that. Jackson Arnold's coming along, but again, I hate to discredit someone for a fantastic performance, so I'll try not to do that. But I mean, that Ball State team they played last week, I mean. I think you and I, David, could have made some of the throws Jackson Arnold was making just because how open we're talking like by 20 yards, a lot of these guys were open. So they are being efficient. Their defense, I think, only surrendered like 60 total yards to Ball State, completely overwhelmed them. Credit to Auburn. They look like $1 million, but I think I'm reserving judgment until they play Oklahoma and A&M and Georgia because I wouldn't have them beaten any of those teams, and those are their first 3 conference games.
Mike, let me close out with Texas. Has your opinion changed on Arch from the Ohio State game to what you saw last week against San Jose State? Do you feel like on the path of figuring things out?
I mean, personally, no. My opinion has not really changed. And, again, my opinion the whole time was I think the hype was unwarranted, and I'm rooting for Arch. I hope he does well. I know he will, given his talent and his pedigree and family pedigree, I guess I should say. I think next year in 26, he may very well win the Heisman. But this year, Texas is going to be a defensive team and should lean on the ground game. And just Steve Sarkisian is not helping himself. I'm sure you guys have seen it and talked all about it, but weirdest press conference moment I think that I have ever seen, and I've been covering this league for over a decade now. I don't know what in the world he's doing aside from protecting his quarterback, which he should, but the way he's going about answering these questions is just bringing more questions. I think Arch is clearly hurt, and I think that has affected his performance because he hasn't looked very good at all to me.
Mike, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man. SEC Mike here on TexAgs Live. Appreciate his time. We'll hit a break here. When we come back on TexAgs, I think we're going to have Billy Liucci on a mobile. I think we'll have him from Chicago. So we'll chit-chat with Billy for the remainder of the 9 o'clock hour. And then, of course, the final countdown to start off the 10 o'clock hour. If you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your money, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. What really sets them apart, over 9 CFPs, a CFA, a CPA, all on staff. These folks take credentials seriously, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel good about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call at 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. Let me tell you about them. They're Paragon Financial Advisors. Integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors.
Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
Hey friends, welcome into TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the show. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. That's where we find executive editor and co-owner of TexAgs, Billy Liucci, live in location in Chicago, I believe. Billy, good morning, sir.
What's up, David?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Good. Talk to me about Chicago. I know you did Mitzi's show yesterday. How was that?
It was good. Went to got here, checked in, went to the Barstool offices here in Chicago. Really cool. Just to see that whole, I just posted it on the site, just to see that whole operation, what they've got going, just the machine, that they are, and meeting everybody. Casey was there, so I got to catch her before she flew out. So we caught up with old TexAgs Casey and saw everybody, and then that was a good time.
Billy, let's talk about this game here, and I'm just curious if A&M plays, if those questions that we've had about this season are answered, right? Not only do they get the win, but we see a defense that does a very good job against the Notre Dame run. We see a defense that actually, forces turnovers, and we see a defense that is able to maybe create some turnovers from the DBs. Then what? Kind of just play out that scenario for us.
Well, in order to, if we see a defense that stops the run, and they force CJ Carr to throw behind the chains on predictable throwing down, and they can get after that Notre Dame offensive line like Miami did when they were in those positions, what we see is a game that looks nothing like what we saw last year. Because Riley Leonard and Notre Dame stayed ahead of the sticks. They were content to go, 7-8 yards and punt and play the field position game, and they'd pop a few. As the game wore on, they popped a few more. They were able to commit to it. We've seen A&M win football games the same way. Last year, though, it was Notre Dame that kind of beat A&M at their own game. I don't think that's the game A&M is really interested in winning this year. I think defensively they'd like to, obviously stop the run is where it's going to start and get after CJ Carr and see how he navigates that pressure and see if you can't force a mistake or two from him throwing the football. But I think offensively the Aggies want to win the game differently than what we've gotten used to. I mean, yes, do they want Le'Veon Moss and that running game to be a big factor? Of course. I think you're looking for real balance, though, and not just in terms of like the run-pass split, but I mean balance in terms of production, not just from Moss and even Reed in the run game or whichever other running backs pop runs, but I'm talking about big plays and get them from those wide receivers and the running game, and even in the QB run game, which they haven't been able to do, in some of these really key matchups, under Elko. And now it's different. In 1 year, he did not, his last year was his first year, and they would produce that in the ground game. You can go back to some, LSU, obviously, in the second half, Arkansas, down there in the fourth quarter with Moss. Moss, and they did it throwing and running against Missouri, but you think back to that first play of the third quarter against Missouri with Le'Veon that just broke them. So I think now, but you look at Texas, you look at South Carolina, you look, really those two stand out. Notre Dame, those three games, how many big plays offensively did A&M have in those three? Probably a couple. I mean, obviously Amari Daniels' run at South Carolina, but there just really weren't enough, and they're going to need that on Saturday. Even if they slow down the Notre Dame running game, I don't think the Aggies want to be sitting there in a game that's 6-6 at halftime and 13-13 with a couple minutes left. I mean, yeah, you can win that game, and that's all that matters. But I think A&M would like to see more offense in this one on their side, and even if it's kind of both ways, I think that still favors the Aggies.
Billy, what did you think?
Built differently.
What did you think of the? I think you tweeted about it, but remind me, what did you think of A&M's uniform choice for this weekend with those icy whites?
I loved them until people started comparing them to Mississippi State, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's just Adidas though doing the thing. But no, I don't really care that they look like the curse of State. It's fine. Like I think they look awesome. I love A&M in the all whites. I love the alternate helmet. I liked it last year when it was black and white, and I love it this year too. So.
This is so one of our interns, Caden, put up some numbers. He's smart. He's an engineer. He put up some numbers, and he was looking at some areas where maybe A&M could take advantage of Notre Dame. I'm just going to read you a couple stats he put together. Notre Dame's pass blocking grade versus Miami was a 25.6 versus over 100. Excuse me. Their worst offensive line performance in 3 years. Run blocking wasn't much better at 52.9. It's hard to look at one game and copy-paste the thinking to another, but just considering that the line, who did pretty well against A&M at Kyle Field a year ago, struggled like that on the road against Miami. Does that tell you anything?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think. But now, again, I've said this before. The Aggies don't have anybody like Bang getting after the quarterback. That dude's a freak. But it wasn't just him. You know, Miami got after them, and it's not what they're built for as much. You know, that's not what they do. So if you get them in those situations, it's just like I said, you were unable to do that last year. I mean, I can't imagine what Scorton, Stewart, Turner, and company would have done if you'd have had Notre Dame and Riley Leonard playing behind the stick.
Here's another one for you. Notre Dame played man coverage 58% of the dropbacks in 2024 and over 60% versus Miami in week one. And the context he provides is A&M didn't have the speed at wide receiver last year. They do this year.
Yeah, no, they do. And those receivers against those two Notre Dame corners are going to be that's going to be a matchup, man. And I think Notre Dame and Greathouse and Faisano, I think they're going to let C.J. Carr test Will Lee and Des Ricks. Why wouldn't you? You know, Lee's coming off, you know, giving up a couple longer pass plays against Utah State. And then, you know, Ricks had his ups and downs last season. They're watching probably that Las Vegas Bowl, say, hey, let's attack him and see. I think the Aggies in those corners should welcome that, but I do think you're going to see it. But they're going to have to prove that they can break up passes. I would prefer Elko and them. You know, they probably are like, well, we got to see if C.J. Carr can complete those passes down the field too. So that's kind of an interesting chess match between Elko and Denbrock. Is like the feeling out process of, do we have a vertical passing game here, or is this just hurting drives, and should we just stick to these running backs?
Billy, I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't see it, but William Gillespie on our YouTube chat says that you were on the SEC network this morning, and you talked a little bit about Marcel's practicing this week, or that he practiced this week. Any details you can provide the audience about what you're hearing about Marcel?
Well, it's obviously an injury stuff at a quarterback position, so I'm not going to pop on a Friday with any breaking news. But the good news is I don't think there's any news to be broken right now. I mean, I think Marcel practiced, like I said, all week. So that. But you and I talked early in the week, and I said that was my question. Was not that was he going to play or not. It's how much practice time does he have? Because if you're not sharp and you're not practicing to play a team like Notre Dame, you're going to look like it on Saturday. You're probably not going to move the ball and win. But he practiced all week. So I think when I was on with you Monday, that was that was my question, not whether or not he could play, but whether or not he could practice and prepare. And the answer is yes, he did.
All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back with more. I want to ask you a little bit more on the defensive side on the other side, Billy. Talking to Billy Liucci there on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. When insurance matters most, who's going to answer your call? That's the Rollo Insurance Group. They answer my calls all the time. They'll answer my texts as well. You get a personal agent with a direct number, not a call center, not an automated system, somebody who knows your unique situation, somebody who's going to take great care of you. They are the official insurance provider of TexAgs Live. The difference is real. 60 offices in the great state of Texas. Their headquarters is in College Station right here on Highway 6. Whether it's your home, your auto, your business, or your ranch, start a relationship with experts who put you first, and they become very familiar with your specific situation, and they'll customize a plan for you that mass market insurers simply cannot match. When you need advice or have a claim, you'll speak directly with someone who knows you by name. That's the Rollo difference. Visit rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That is rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, or call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That's 888-44-ROLLO.
Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuño here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olsen, wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go back to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Billy Liucci joining us from Chicago. All right, Billy, I wanted to talk a little bit about Des Ricks so far this season, because I think he's been maybe we have underappreciated the start of the season, and I recognize we're about to jump up in weight class with the kind of opponents we face. Reese Nygren was doing some digging and had some PFF grades on him so far.
Yeah, according to PFF, Des Ricks has the most coverage snaps played without allowing a catch at 54 so far to begin this season.
Yeah, I saw that, and then they don't have him with like a super high grade, which is weird to me. Like the two don't seem to mesh up, but I don't know how they do that. Here's what I know, and here's what people are listening and reading should know, because I've said it all off season before there were any, PFF grades. This is a guy who worked his ass off during the off season and didn't really like what he put on tape and his performance in that bowl game, but it wasn't all bad last year. And that was something that pointed out. When you play 600, 550, 600 snaps in your first year of college football, really, to play, you didn't play at Bama as a true freshman in the SEC, you're going to have some ups and downs. I mean, I don't care how good your future is. You're going to have some ups and downs, and he did. But there were ups. There were plays where he flashed it. And huge interception against Arkansas there at Jerry World, and he's made some other plays. So talent's never been an issue, and I don't think he liked the way he ended last season. And I heard about it in spring workouts, that he had kind of really dialed in and was a standout. And then you saw it in spring ball. And then throughout this summer, you heard about it. And then you saw it in fall camp, and you heard Bateman and Elko talk about his improvement. So to me, this is expected. It doesn't mean that he's going to go the whole season without hiccups. I mean, again, you look at some of the quarterbacks A&M is playing. Guys are going to complete passes on these A&M corners. But I still think that Ricks is going to be one of your most improved guys on the team when all is said and done. And they need him to be. I mean, look, between Des Ricks, Humphrey, Will Lee, like Chappelle coming back, corner should be, and I've said it all summer, one of the most improved positions on the football team, period. And they need it to be if we want this defense to make a significant jump. I know Notre Dame's going to run, but I do think they're going to test the corners Saturday, like I said earlier.
Billy, were you impressed by C.J. Carr in the Miami game?
Was I impressed what?
By C.J. Carr in the Miami game. Like, did you come away saying, you know what, this guy, he may not be Riley Leonard, but he's showing me something?
Yeah, absolutely. He looked like a gamer. He rose. I thought he kind of rose to the. He didn't shrink from the moment there in the second half against Miami. You could see why they like him. And with his legs, he's a playmaker. And I think, on down the road, he could certainly be a better passer down the field that Riley Leonard was. So that's one thing I would not sleep on, is his ability to get it down the field as the season goes on. I hope that's not tomorrow. But I think he's a guy that can cause you problems if you let him get going with his legs. There's no question about that. And he's had 2 weeks. He's had 2 weeks to really dial in and lock into this game plan they're going to have. So these first couple drives for Notre Dame are going to be really significant. As they're obviously going to have quite a bit scripted against what they've seen from this Aggie defense. So it'll be interesting to see how much Elko has been holding back to kind of disrupt that, what Notre Dame probably thinks they're going to come out and hit you with. So getting off the field quickly early in that game could be a massive difference, swing in A&M's favor.
Billy, a lot was made of some of the losses to that Notre Dame defense, but they got some young players playing very well, and Boubacar Traore is one of those stud players on their defensive line. But it's not just him. Bryce Young, the freshman, the son of Bryant Young, I don't think he had a great first game, but he is a talented guy, obviously with a football pedigree. So when you think about this defense, it's multi-layered that Notre Dame is going to have there in South Bend.
I mean, you just think about who Notre Dame recruits now. Come on. And I still think it all starts in the secondary, the way they cover, the way they fly around. Those safeties are very active in the run game, and also just closing. You watch the closing speed of those guys on the underneath stuff. They're terrific, in my opinion, in the secondary. Look, Miami's biggest play was a sensational catch that really it was just a missed time leap by the DB or it's an interception, Notre Dame probably wins that game. That takes away 7 off the board for the Canes, not to mention all the momentum it gave them going into the break. But they were that close to winning that game based on that last play of the half interception, essentially. So the secondary is where it starts. I don't think they're what they were in the front 7. But, yeah, Boubacar, Young, they've got linebackers. So these dudes, listen, Marcus Freeman has recruited at an elite level in South Bend. This is not, this is Notre Dame team that got blown out by Alabama, and every time they play an SEC team or Clemson, they get beat, up and down the field. They're so much more talented than that now. They so much more resemble the Lou Holtz Notre Dame teams. And I'm not saying they're not that talented, but they're a lot closer to that than these teams that were consistently getting run off the field and uncompetitive against the SEC. That's a thing of the past.
But one of the things I talked to SEC Mike was potentially some of the teams that we thought were going to be really good, and I don't know that you and I thought these teams were necessarily going to be as good as people were saying, but just for conversation's sake, these teams that we think that are really good, the Clemsons, the LSUs, the Notre Dames, the Texases, they may not be as good as we thought, yet still really good. And then some of those other teams that we maybe doubted might be better. Missouri, for example. I don't know if Arkansas is necessarily better, but we're about to find out. So as tight as we felt the SEC may have been before the season, it actually might be even tighter.
Oh, no question about it. Like I think it's absolutely tighter. And I listen, I thought that before the year with Georgia and Texas. And you just can't lose that much when it wasn't like there was this massive gap between them and everybody else last year. Texas got by with a cush conference schedule. They were so close to losing to Arizona State in their playoff game. And then you look at Georgia, and they just weren't as dominant as they have been. Even though they went on and won the SEC, they weren't. The dominance was not there. And obviously with Bama, LSU was a 4-loss team. So all these teams that we've grown used to thinking are great, you take that and you take off 14 or 15 NFL guys, and it changes everything. And so, and as far as the other stuff, the other teams, I think some of the teams you didn't think. Auburn's another one, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
OU's one. You mentioned Missouri. Like Vandy, I think, is starting to look better than people thought. So I think it's a really fun SEC this year. And if A&M can win on Saturday, quite frankly, David, I think they'll start. I think the people that we listen to around the country and around the conference will start moving them up, maybe even more than they should. They'll be the team of the week, like OU was last week, where everybody props them up and pushes them up to the top, or top of conversation, where it's like, all right, hang on, now this is still a really tough SEC stretch they've got coming up.
Are you really intrigued by this Diego Pavia Lenore Sellers matchup?
As you hear the L train going by, this is why I only wanted 2 quick seconds. I'm on a walk to I'm going to head to the Cubs in a little bit, but walking to breakfast right now. But I'm really intrigued by that matchup because I think Pavia's looked better so far. I know better than to sell Sellers short at South Carolina, right? Especially at night. So that's going to be a really tough one. It's going to be really interesting to see because that's one of my more exciting matchups of the weekend. I also am really interested in Arkansas and Ole Miss because I think Arkansas has a quarterback advantage in that one.
Yeah, I agree, Billy. Hey, we're going to drop it here, and we'll have a very short 9:50 segment, so we'll just listen to the final countdown there at 10 o'clock.
David, do you not hear your song in the background?
I don't hear anything.
As I'm walking by?
No, is it Bad Bunny or is it Oasis? Who is it?
Somebody's out here at 9:30 a.m. singing Despacito.
What are they singing?
Despacito.
Oh, Despacito. You had a version that you made the other day.
I'm sorry, Despacito. I'm sorry, Despacito. I didn't realize it was Despacito.
Hey, why don't you sing the song you sang in the hallway the other day? Because you made your own version of it. Do you remember that one?
No, who is it about?
I think it was me, Nuño or something like that.
Oh yeah, Nuño. Yeah, and then I forget what the word. We'll work on that. I think that one's got potential.
Enjoy Chicago, man. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, y'all be safe getting up here. I'll see you guys later.
Later, bud. Billy Liucci on the Buppies Caring Bartending Hotline. He'll still be on the 10 o'clock hour. It'll be a look live. All right, from Houston or from College Station, wherever we are. Milliken Reserve Time, farm to table community in College Station, featuring homes, trails, farms, and wide open spaces. They have a mission to build a healthy community around nature. They're committed to treading lightly on that beautiful land that you can find Milliken Reserve on. You can find it right there, Highway 6 coming towards town, Wellborn going away from town. You'll drive right by it. It is awesome. It is beautiful. They have all the native species you can imagine. Homeowners sharing a legacy of conservation, which means generation after generation, you're coming back to that pristine countryside place. You can go there hiking, biking, canoeing, kayaking. They got the equestrian trails. They got the evening yoga. And you can just enjoy being outdoors with your family. If you want to learn more, what you need to do is go to millikenreserve.com. That website again, millikenreserve.com. Do me a favor, check it out. I already know the answer to this. Nick, keep the song going, by the way, guys. Keep it going. Come on. No chance you liked this when this song was the number one song in...
You would be right.
In 2017.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
What did you not like about it? Because it is catchy. You cannot deny the catchiness.
A lot of, reggaeton. Is that what you call it? It's catchy, but it's not for me. Isn't Justin Bieber like this is an Americanized song? You know what I mean? Like
Justin Bieber was on the remix. This is the original.
Clearly made for the United States.
Luis Fonsi? Oh, that's Daddy Yankee right there. You're familiar with his game?
Out. No, sir.
I think you should look. You should take a page from my book. A couple years of wisdom. When I was your age and younger, I only listened to one genre. I was anti everything else.
I listen to multiple genres. I do.
I think you need to go more different languages.
There's a few country Spanish songs that I like.
Yeah, there's that one dude. God, who is he? He sings some songs in Spanish.
William Beckman.
Oh my gosh, that guy's fantastic.
I've seen him at the Tap here. He's awesome.
Does he come often? Because I'll go with you.
He comes every
if he
now
plays
and then.
between 8 and 9, I'll go.
He plays in New Braunfels a lot.
Okay. I like William Beckman.
I do too.
So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do the final countdown. I'm going to wear a different shirt.
We're going to teleport Billy back to Texas.
Yeah, it's going to be a look live, which means we did it in studio prior to Billy's leaving, but we're going to act like we're doing it live. But it's not live, because I won't lie to you. But it's a look live, because it's going to look live. As a reminder, the final segment of the program, though, is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. Right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way, and they won't be Despacito. They'll be fast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the final countdown presented by La Casa Tequila, raised in Aggie land and rooted in the SEC. Seth McKinney and Steve McKinney here in studio. Gentlemen, hello.
Hello. Hey, how's everybody today?
Hello.
How goes it?
It goes great.
So let's, obviously we're going to look ahead at this Notre Dame game, but also work our way back. How are you feeling after seeing 8 quarters of football? Steve, start us off. How good they look heading into this game.
But I was going to make fun of Nuño to start it off.
Oh, you should. Please.
Let's do that. Let's rewind the clock.
And then I realized something as I looked at the camera. It's going to make fun of you. Like, hey, I'm sure Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame appreciate you wearing your Notre Dame colors today.
I didn't realize
and then I looked at the camera. I looked at me and you, and we could actually pass for like this could be a Notre Dame
their uniform
color combo. So
nice.
I got an idea.
So I had to look. Don't ever say I can't.
You have my back. I do have a maroonish hat upstairs. Maybe in the next segment I'll put that on.
Okay.
So we can kind of.
No,
we would appreciate that.
As I'm looking at the camera, I'm like, who are these two guys?
I didn't even realize it. So apologies. How are we feeling about the way they've played so far, Steve?
All right, so I feel pretty good. I think that the things that we were concerned about from game 1 did show up a little bit in game 2, but I thought the run defense was better. I thought the pass rush, we got more opportunities to rush against the traditional drop back, but I think the pass rush showed us that we got some dudes on the outside that if you put them in those situations where they can turn it loose and go after the quarterback, they can get there. And that's what's going to be, in my mind, key to the Notre Dame game is us being able to stop the run enough to put them in those 3rd and long situations to allow Howell and Kennedy and those guys to be able to pin their ears back and go after the quarterback. So to me, so much of this game really depends on our ability to stop the run.
Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing. I like our improvement over the UTSA game. I think our defense still had their issues that they need to deal with, but nothing major. I think that they had something like, 6 straight stops. They allowed like 2 yards a run or something like that. And a lot of that had to do with sacks, which is great. That's just how it goes. That's how the math works. But I like where we're at. I like our positioning going into this game. The offense has been clicking. Our receivers continue to show out. So I'm excited, and I'm full of optimism.
Yeah.
Billy.
I wouldn't say I'm full of optimism. I'm fired up about the potential of it. Notre Dame I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see this team play somebody real.
Yeah, no kidding.
It will give me a much better feel, win or lose, how I feel like they're going to do the rest of the way. My excitement level is not at 10 because I would just worry. I'm really bullish on this offense.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to play one of the 3 best defenses they'll face all year this weekend. So it's going to be a legit test.
Yeah.
Do I think they can go up there and score 30? What was that?
Marketing, dude.
Yeah.
Always be
Just
marketing.
wanted to make sure La Casa was in the back.
Did someone say that in your ear? Come on, dude. Let us do a show, for God's sake. Can we do it without, could we not have waited? That's going to distract
after Seth
me.
from last week.
Oh, my word.
That's true.
That's way out of context.
Do I have to move my arm? Look, my arm was like, do I need to do that? Then why don't we put the La Casa up? Because I like to support our sponsors, unlike somebody down here.
Yeah.
So, can I continue?
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to affect you.
Nick or Bick.
You didn't know that was going to affect you? Really?
No, I did my double daves the other day, and it was flawless.
Well, you're unflappable.
That's true.
Is Nick Bick?
He's very flappable.
What's Nick Bick doing? Because that's how there's like Brangelina and Benefit. There's Nick Bick.
Nick Bickham and Nick Savage.
Nickum. Nickum or Big Nick? I kind of like Big Nick. So, anyway.
Where were we?
Oh, gosh. We're talking about...
Is it 200 degrees in the studio?
It's a little warm.
Feels good. It's a lot of excitement.
Can we...
Look how red
you were
Seth's
talking
face
about
is.
a tempered optimism is what you're talking about.
I'm excited about the offense. If they go out and score 30 on Saturday night, then I'm going to be over the moon excited. I'm going to start going, who's going to stop this offense? Because this defense is that good.
Yeah.
But more realistically, I think just good enough offense to win that game, which they didn't have last year.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't produce not big plays, plural. They didn't produce one big play, not one. Nothing, no big play down the field, no popped running plays for big yardage. They really produced almost nothing in terms of big plays in that football game. I wonder, I'd love to know how many plays of over 20 yards they had against Notre Dame last year. In that
Luke! Luke's working on it.
But they've got, this year, I think they've got the weapons to do it at running back. The O-line's a lot better than it was a year ago, although I will tell you, Steve, I haven't been just 10 out of 10 excited about the way that unit's played either.
That's right.
Particularly that right side. I think they need to,
well, I have thoughts
man
on
up
that.
and get a lot better.
I have an opinion about that.
Okay, well, let's get to that in a second.
I was going to give you time.
Yeah, where I'm not bullish is until I see it from this defense. I got to see it to believe it. And
Missouri Bill.
I wish I felt better. Missouri or Missouri?
Is that right?
What does that mean?
Isn't that the show me state? Is that Kansas?
What? Where did
think
you come up with that? It is the show me state.
Missouri
You're right.
is
But I just didn't. I didn't understand the
Good job.
reference.
I liked it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good grief.
It was
Missouri Bill. I thought it was like the guy that found Yellowstone. So, this guy's like a huge Lewis and Clark buff.
Yeah.
Like the whole trip, he's telling us about how they came and explored. What was the guy's name that you wouldn't stop talking about?
Who, Jim
Constantly
Bridger? But he
on.
wasn't part of
No,
it.
not Jim Bridger. Who the hell's heard of Jim?
Jim Bridger.
Yeah.
He's a mountain man.
Yeah,
He's a mountain
He's
man.
found Yellowstone.
Went back to St. Louis, didn't he?
That's right, yeah.
Who's the other guy? There's another one.
Mayweather.
He starts
Meriwether
talking
Clark.
about what's her name?
Sacagawea.
Sacagawea. We're driving. He's like, oh, this is where Sacagawea was. Really helped them get through this mountain range. It was absurd. And then he's got those Benjamin Franklin glasses on while he's doing it. Anyway, back to the run defense. I have been worried about it all offseason. I wish there was something that encouraged me. I will say they've gotten better since halftime of UTSA, and then there came the big run. From that point on, I think they've given up one run that I would say of note.
The start of the second half.
Yeah.
Of Utah State.
But for a game and a half since then, I think they've done a really nice job. But I haven't seen anything to make me go, damn, they've shored that up. Like that, I'm not as worried about it. I'm probably more concerned than when I went into the season.
Yeah.
But here's the good news. If they go up there and stop it, I'm going to be like, man, that should only get better as the season goes on. And I'm going to, what in my mind, what I think of this team's chances goes from I'm up in the air to I think that's a playoff-looking team if A&M can go and stop Love and Price and Carr in that Irish ground game.
So
I'm also worried about coverage down the field too. They haven't been tested by real receivers yet. Now, the good news is I don't think this quarterback's the guy to do it, hopefully. But
we've said that in the past.
Yeah, we have.
Well,
and been burned.
Before you go on, can Steve make his O-line comment?
Well, all I was going to add to the O-line comments is that we've had guys moving around.
Yeah.
And I think that's done intentionally. I mean, you did have some guys get banged up a little bit, but I think they weren't banged up to the point where they couldn't come back into play. I really think Cushing wants to get as many guys into the game right now in many game reps as possible to get that experience moving forward in the season. So I wouldn't worry too much about where the O-line is these first couple games because you're going to get, when you're playing lesser opponents like that, you're going to get looks you really haven't practiced and aren't expecting. And that it doesn't matter how good an offensive line you are, you're going to get stumbled up on that at times. I thought the pass protection has been really solid. The run game to me was a lot better on Saturday than it was the week before.
For sure.
Because they were able to establish it a little bit more. UTSA kind of forced them to throw the ball some. So I think offensive line, they haven't really been tested yet. I think we'll see the best they can deliver this Saturday. I think we'll see, at least up to this point in the season, where they are as a group.
I'll tell you what.
I feel pretty confident.
Agreed.
Well, they better be because Boubacar, is that how you say
Traore?
Traore is a beast.
Yeah.
I think he's really good, and I think just
Bryce Young.
their interior is strong, but Traore and
Bryce
Young.
Young.
Yeah, Traore and Young.
That's not Bryant Young.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, wow.
As soon as you said it that game, I was like, oh.
You remember Bryant Young?
I
Did you play against him?
He was very good.
What did Bryant? You did too?
Yeah.
He was
NFL.
Yeah, in the NFL.
He was like a bigger version of who was Leroy Glover? He was a bigger version
He was
of
like
Leroy
a
Glover.
John Randall,
Yes,
Leroy Glover
that type of guy. Yeah,
He was
Play
really
him
good.
in college or pro?
Pro San Francisco. Yeah.
Did you want to add anything on what you've seen from the line?
No, I mean, I'm just echoing what Steve said. I'm very impressed with what they've done. The rotations. I don't know what they're. I don't see that happening versus Notre Dame. I don't think you would either, Steve. That's just not how it works.
Unless somebody's playing really.
You're trying to get flow.
No.
Those guys are going to be out there, and I think they can fix any issues with playing with different people or moving people around just by leaving your 5 guys out there.
But they do have 6 guys right now until Father's healthy. They got 6 guys that can rotate in.
Yeah,
so you might see Naboo or how do you say it? Coley.
Yeah.
You see those 2 maybe rotate in a little bit just to.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be like
Naboo
every other
can play
series.
guard. I just think this is the game that these guys came back for. Like Mike Elko's talked a lot about experience. He's talked a lot about guys coming back and passing up on the NFL, and that's where a lot of this NIL money went. Okay, a lot of it, you talk about Concepcion and Craver in the portal, but a lot of it went towards bringing guys back that you thought were good enough to win.
Mm-hmm.
And much of that can be found on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I think of guys like, Zune, who could have gone to the draft, Armage, who was considering the draft, Crownover, who was considering the draft. You really wanted to keep Besantis. I don't think he was looking, but a year ago you did a lot to keep Besantis. Before Elko got here, he went in the portal.
Yeah.
You got him back out. So, and then you managed to keep 2 centers. So you had to talk them into say, hey, there's 2 of you. You both want to start. They convinced them to stay. You don't just do that on vibes. They committed a lot to this offensive line. This is going to be a strength of the team. So this game is why.
Yeah.
This is why. Like it wasn't Utah State. It wasn't UTSA. Like it's this football game against Notre Dame, against those guys I mentioned, and to win the line of scrimmage and let Reuben Owens be a factor. Let Marcel Reed cook and make plays. Let those receivers have time to get open. So this to me is like these O-linemen, Seth and Steve, if you guys were in that room, y'all – O-linemen tend to be, am I wrong to say y'all tend to be the most easily motivated? Like with a good fiery speech?
Yeah, yeah.
If I'm giving it, I'm like, hey, like this is why in the hell you came back. These guys are going to test your manhood this week. Like last year they came in here and we locked the gates and got into a fist fight and they beat you. They won the line of scrimmage. So what the hell are you going to do about it this year? So that's where I'm at with the O-line, and I think they're going to respond.
Well, let me ask you this, because it's not just the Notre Dame game, though. When they've taken on tough defenses, the offense has sputtered. This is a different looking offense now with the speedsters at wide receiver. But South Carolina, they had a little stretch where they were really good offensively, but overall not as good. Not good against Texas. Most teams weren't. And obviously Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So this is going to be another one of those matchups and how we look at this offense.
Yeah, no question. And
Well, we also didn't have Le'Veon Moss in every game you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And up until the halftime or whatever of South Carolina, our offense was pretty dynamic and was working pretty well.
I scored 20 and a half against a good defense.
And I think the 20, though, it happened after Le'Veon got hurt. They did get hot. They got hot.
Yeah, but I truly think that having all your running backs healthy and the offensive line back, Marcel Reed throwing the ball a lot better and with much more explosive receivers that get actual separation in the secondary and make plays after the catch, This offense, you can't even compare it to what we had last year.
That's true. I was just about to say, it's a completely different – the scheme may be the same, but you're talking about a completely different level of execution with the people you have out there, man.
Y'all didn't even mention tight ends.
Yeah, that too. Just add it on to the list. I mean, what I said about the offense, I still believe from the beginning of the year. That hadn't changed. Defense, I actually feel better about in the sense that the defensive line and our ability to rush the passer – I thought they were very good, but like I know it was UTSA and I know it was Utah State. I get it, but that was very unique, to see what happened out there and just translate that just a little bit to a better talent, and that's what you can get out of that crew out there. I mean, it's. I feel very good about us going into to Notre Dame and that stadium and that atmosphere, especially. I'm sure we'll get into it at some point. But Elko's over there going, hey, I've seen all this. I've seen Touchdown Jesus. I've seen all this stuff. It's not that big of a deal. Put it out of your mind, And so he's probably coaching them up on the atmosphere and doing a great job of it, saying that they're going to just go out there and dominate this team and put them to sleep early.
Wow.
Jeez. Okay.
Well, wow. Hey, to his point, Charlie Weiss was on this show. We had another former player on the
Weiss on. When the hell did you have Charlie Weiss?
On Wednesday.
Wow. Billy's jealous.
My good friend Charlie Weiss. Couldn't have been nicer.
Awesome.
He was wearing a Hawaiian shirt. No, was he? Yeah, with a Hawaiian background, a beach background. It was great. But he said,
good pull.
And,
who got him for you?
Callie Gardner. Callie Gardner. And Nick, if you can remind me who the other former player we had, he played for the Texans. Anyway, we had two former players.
So you had him on, but you don't know who he was.
Just for a moment. I forgot.
Literally, it's a list of two.
When did he?
It's not like you're trying to think of like all the former.
When was he with the Texans?
Notre Dame.
2013. Ryan Harris. Excuse me, offensive lineman Ryan Harris.
Oh.
He was on the show. They both said, both of them, yeah, Notre Dame's cool. It's nothing like Kyle Field. And they made that point, both of them, several times.
I wanted to ask Seth. Shockingly, we've got a guy that played at Notre Dame that hasn't bothered to volunteer any information on it yet. He actually played 4 quarters in that stadium. So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, they fixed the biggest beef I had, which was 8-inch grass they had out there, which now they have turf or something. But other than that, you unless they change something, you go down the same tunnel, which is it's very that is quite the experience. You got Notre Dame over there, and like at our game, they had like the bagpipe player just sitting outside our locker room, banging on the bagpipe for like an hour straight.
Who was that we were talking to that said that they actually loved that?
I don't know, like Christian or Evan or something. It was driving me up a wall, just like hearing the bagpipe.
Somebody's like, "Oh,"
but no, it was a great experience to see it all, and that was very cool. Don't get me wrong, but Elko is going to be coaching them up.
But you thought the biggest playing advantage, more so than the crowd, was
because I guess I don't know if it was a different world back then, but I didn't really think about any of that, the surface, right? And then you show up, you're like, dang, man, this is kind of annoying. I got my Sharks, which are the molded, plastic cleats that I always played in. But had you known, maybe you put in the studs and the 7-stud or whatever those shoes are called, and make them like the 1/2-inch long spikes versus
3/4 inch.
Yeah, 3/4, whatever. But I mean that's it. I mean that's it. But I don't know.
By the way, it was Trevor Knight that told me that when he was at Oklahoma, they played at Notre Dame, and he's like, yeah, they put the bagpipes right out the door, and I actually liked it. It got me all fired up for the game. I was like, okay.
All right.
Interesting music choice.
Let's hit a break here. And when we come back, I do want to ask you who we know more about, A&M or Notre Dame. We'll get into that here in a few. And we're back on TexAgs Live.
What is happening right now? What just happened?
David Gardner's Jewelers.
Is this a freaking
Rollo
judo?
Insurance Studio.
Is this a commercial?
Amazing.
No, we're back. I didn't want to wear the green.
Well, you got to button it
the
up.
Final Countdown brought to you by La Casa Tequila. Yes, sir.
I've always wondered. That's a gi, correct?
It's a gi.
Yes.
From my friends at Brazos Valley MMA.
This is amazing.
All right, I always wanted
to. We went into fight mode real quick.
I knew he was going to do it. That's why I didn't grasp it long. I always wanted to see, like, you don't have to do that arm thing. I want to see, like.
What you do is you pull like this.
That's why, isn't this a disadvantage? Like, if I just.
Yeah. No, because he'll wrap you up in it, too.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, he'll twist your arm all up in it, and you're done.
So hot in here, by the way. Anyway, I didn't want to wear the.
Are you going straight from here to go roll?
No,
Go roll.
I just wanted to change it up.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it.
Good
You
look.
know what? It makes you look tough.
It does it? It changes
it does. I think you slap on a gi of any kind or color.
It
and
makes
it's
you a
like-
black one, right?
It makes you rethink things.
Yeah, it does. Anybody you see, like if you were ever going to get in a fight at any point in your life from like 5 years old to adulthood, and then all of a sudden, like, if you could snap your finger and the person you're about to fight all of a sudden is wearing a gi.
Plus a black one with white letters.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, or you just
that looks important.
Slap a black belt on there. It's like, unfortunately, Nuño's would be a black gi with a white belt. But if
very
you had,
white, it's very white.
If you had like, you know what I'm saying? Like you get into it with somebody, and then all of a sudden you go, there's the gi. You're like, hey man.
By the way,
we're good.
White belt, double stripe.
Double. What color stripe though?
Black stripe.
What's your next belt? What's your first step?
Blue
up?
belt.
Okay.
What does it go? Like
I'll be
white
50.
and then a yellow stripe, right?
No. For jiu-jitsu, it goes white.
Is there any way you can fast track the
purple?
You know,
brown. No, I'm not.
Nuño, did you know Kempner High School has a rich history of judo Olympians?
Yeah, Steve and the Lopez family.
Yep.
Who I know quite. Diana.
Yep.
I know the whole family.
Gene Lopez. I grew up with him.
Kempner.
So,
yeah, absolutely. The sister, his younger sister, won gold, didn't she?
Yeah.
Sugarland.
The
It's
first
really just
family of
one
judo.
fighting family, and they are the first family.
Dude,
of
I would
judo.
love to see
American
Billy
judo.
go into a judo studio and just challenge like a kid.
Dude,
Like just a small kid.
See,
That's what I want to
difference in
see.
me- The difference in me and some people, like the difference between, let's say, me and Bronninger.
Yeah.
When it comes to anything, you have to understand your limitations.
Mm.
You know, so like
You know when you're not an expert.
So
at
like
something.
I walk in,
Right.
I'd walk in, and there's probably a million. Like I follow on Instagram the girl that was the karate girl in Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah.
She's like an actress.
All right.
The stuff she does with the nunchucks and doing, like, I mean, that person, you'd have to understand, like, if you went on the mat, you'd get your ass kicked. It's just not.
It's not your fight.
It's not what you do. And judo, I don't care if it's somebody young, if it's a professional, if it's a team. There was some point in time where some random dude thought they could beat a young Ronda Rousey on a judo match. Like before they knew who she was, there's Ronda Rousey, and you're twice her size, and you're like, all right. And that person probably came away with like a separated shoulder, or a
Absolutely.
broken collarbone, or God knows what.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So
Now this,
no, I'll get my butt kicked. I know. Let's go to the question that I asked. I asked Coach Turner this, Jim Turner. I'm going to ask you guys, who do you think we know more about? Seth, you start us off. Do we know more about Notre Dame because they have faced a Miami team that's top, but they've only had one game? Or do we know more about A&M because of the 8 quarters we've seen?
I mean, I think that you know. I would say you probably know more about Notre Dame, honestly, because you haven't seen us play 4 quarters of football. You haven't seen what our run, because a great running game comes into its own in the 4th quarter. So you haven't seen what we can do when we're pressed to get into those kind of situations. Then you have Notre Dame, on the other hand, who faced Miami. They were in a very close game, and they unleashed everything they had to unleash at them. They didn't hold anything back. They played their best guys. They played who was healthy. Notre Dame wasn't just holding anything back for A&M in this game. And so, yeah, I think you know more about them than you do us. They've got injuries. We've got our guys that were hurt last week that are coming, or got dinged up, that are coming back, that are going to be healthy going in to this game. I think that we have shown our ability to pass the ball, but I also don't think that we've you've seen what we can do when we're pressed and like have to pass the ball. So that's kind of an unknown, if you will. And the defense dialing up blitzes and different schemes like that, we haven't had to do that at all. So, I mean, we have more to unleash than what they do. That's my opinion on the matter.
Yeah,
I don't know what Coach Turner had to say about it, but I'd be interested to hear.
He thought it was Notre Dame. He goes, we don't know about A&M yet. We just don't know.
What does Ralph Macchio have to say?
I'm more a Cobra Kai guy.
More Cobra Kai. Yeah, he's wearing the black. So.
You're 100% Miyagi, though.
You think I'm Miyagi?
He's a Miyagi, though,
guy. Listen, by the way,
rule follower.
By the way, I was walking Griffin this morning, and somebody's in the park, like walking through the woods, like the trail, with his two little kids. They kind of come in and he's asked, can they pet a dog? Which is what you do, what good parents do when it comes to a dog. Like, hey, this dog's not going to, And yeah, sure. So we start talking, but he had a Brazos Valley boxing shirt on, and he had the guy had the look of somebody. I immediately thought when I saw him, I think I was on the phone with Bronny, and I said that guy would wear Nuño out.
Oh, of course.
I could tell just off the cut of his jib. That made me go.
I recognize that I am the kid in class that people look at. I know. I get it.
Well, I know y'all might have discussed it.
I agree with Seth.
Man.
I agree with Seth. I think we know more about Notre Dame, and I think that even goes back. I think the biggest unknown about I think a lot of that goes back to last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come with the same style. Maybe I think they open up a little bit to test this secondary. I really do. I really think you go Great House, Faison, we're wasting these guys if we don't attack Will Lee. If we don't attack Des Ricks. I want to see, does Will Lee, is he capable of playing better than he showed in the first two games? Is Des Ricks better than he was last year? Because if this is last year's Des Ricks and last week's Will Lee, we're leaving a lot on the field if we don't try that. Now, I personally think Des Ricks is one of the most improved football players on this team. I think Will Lee probably needs Notre Dame in front of him, maybe to really lock in and say, man, the whole country's watching this week. I want to, we saw him do that against Missouri. When he got kind of put in that spotlight, he had a brilliant game, really made a name for himself. So I think that's what will happen. And hopefully they do test him and those guys make some big plays. But outside of that, they're going to line up and run it. It's the same two guys they ran it on last year. They're going to have the same type of offensive line this year. We know what a lot of their guys on defense do under Freeman. We watched them against Miami. They fly. They fly around. They're an SEC defense.
Yeah.
That is a high-end SEC defense. Their big wild card is you went from – there's two. You went from a quarterback last year, Riley Leonard, that took you all the way to the national title game, and it was just a pain in the ass. He 5 yards, I'll get you 5.5. 3 yards, I'll get you 4. You need a yard, I'll get it every time. You don't need a mistake, I won't make a mistake. Riley Leonard was a nightmare in that game. He wasn't even great. He was great at what he did all the way to the national title game in the fourth quarter. We don't know that about C.J. Carr.
Yeah.
We just don't. And so that's their wild card. The other one is their defensive coordinator, Chris Ash, who had been at Texas at one point. He was there in Austin with the Longhorns, but he hasn't called defense in a couple years. And now, guys, y'all know this as O-lineman. So he hasn't called defense as a play caller in D.C. in a couple years, right? Now he's back, and you've got one game under your belt. Kind of do you go back to what he was doing multiple years ago? Do you go to this past week? It's an interesting – those are their two wild cards to me that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Steve, do you agree about – we know a lot more about Notre Dame?
Yeah. No, I do. I mean, I think we do know more about Notre Dame because they've played a better opponent. We know a lot of those guys that came back. And we think we know a little bit about A&M, but just without having seen it against a more quality opponent, we just don't know for sure, is it real or is it a facade? I think what we're going to find out Saturday is this team as good as we think they can be?
Right.
Because I think they potentially could be an SEC champion caliber team, but if you're going to be that, Saturdays you got to go. You got to go show us this Saturday that you're that capable of doing. So this is the biggest game A&M's played for a non-conference opponent in a long time. The good news is they've, not had too many of these opportunities. This is one you can go seize.
Yeah.
This is a very beatable Notre Dame team. This is not, the 2000 whatever Alabama team. This is a Notre Dame team with a freshman quarterback that started one game that we can go into their house and send a statement to the entire country that Texas A&M is back. We're a legit program that's ready to compete for championships. It starts Saturday.
Let's hit a break. When we come back, Freak and Sleeper of the Week here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner. Keeping the show on the rails here. Caldwell Country Chevrolet has no rails. They just drive around town giving you great deals. Actually, they don't drive. They just stay at their place. But if you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet, as I try to make a good segue and ruin it, you will be blown away by their prices, their customer service, and the vehicles that they have there. When you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet, don't be surprised when you see awesome pricing, because that's, they pride themselves on, first on customer service, but also bringing you the best vehicles out there, great trade-in value. And I've told you this for a couple of years. Hopefully you're taking advantage of it. If you buy a vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet, you're going to get free oil changes for life on the life of that purchase, as long as you own that car, right? So like right now we have a Caldwell Country Chevrolet and a vehicle that we've owned from previous years before that. And I got to go find an oil change later on today. So that's unfortunately what I have to do. But the Caldwell Country Chevrolet car I have, they'll take care of it. Right? No cost to me. And that's thousands of savings on the life of that car. It's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryant to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. All right, we are back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The final countdown presented by La Casa Tequila. All right, guys, it is now time for the Freak of the Week.
It's the Freak of the Week. Oh, that's game week. That's a big game right there.
Let's go,
dude.
All right, you get to go first this time, Seth.
All right. I will go with Albert Regis because I want to see him go up against a dinged up offensive line, interior offensive line that they've got, from what I understand. And I'm ready. He's got to do a good job of stopping right up the middle runs by these two unreal running backs they have. And he's going to set the tempo. He's going to set it up for our linebackers to do their job. And that's what I want to see out of him.
Good. Steve?
Mind if I go, Billy?
Sure.
So before you pick like 8 people?
I'm going to pick 2. I'm going to let you know.
Well,
I'll do offense and defense.
Okay, well, I'm going to pick Torian York. And that's going to tie in with what Seth was saying because I love your
Seth
pick.
Him as a sleeper last week.
That was me.
Yeah, no.
I picked him as a sleeper.
from sleeper to freak.
No, yeah. I slept on him last week. This week, I'm taking it as my Freak of the Week. I'm just counting on him, man. I mean, I keep saying his name because I just think back to those defenses back when I was in school here, and I think about guys like that that people thought were undersized that just freaking made plays because they were so well prepared and so smart. And I keep telling myself, like, Torian York is going to be that guy. Mm-hmm. Like, at some point, he is going to make, like, this interception like he did against LSU last year. With this incredible play, just a headsy play by a middle linebacker. His dad used to make those all the time.
Yeah.
And I think this is the week that we need him to be that guy. Like, just be so dialed in that you got the defense right where they need to be at all times. You're moving guys around if you need to, putting them in better positions than you even practice because you're seeing things happening in real time and making adjustments in your head. That's the kind of middle linebacker play we got to have this week. If we do that and stop the run, we'll win this game.
Billy?
Defensively, I'm going to go with Cassius Howell.
Okay.
I think he's going to follow up on that 3-sack performance and have multiple sacks on Saturday night against Notre Dame. I think it's a big if, but if the Aggies can slow down that running game and put Notre Dame – the one thing they never did last year is play behind the chains. It was so rare that they were behind the chains offensively. It was a master class, I would say, by Den Brock. It was a master class in patience by Den Brock. It was a master class in execution by Riley Leonard. I don't think it quite works that way for them, and I think that there's going to be opportunities to take advantage of this offensive line that you talked about, and I think Cassius Howell is the most equipped to do it. Offensively, my Freak of the Week is I think this is I'm going to go with Marcel Reed in this one, and I think, look, this is what last year, as high as I was on Connor Wigman, by game's end, what you saw, and by season's end, what you saw was it was a massive advantage in that football game at the quarterback position for the team in the gold helmets. This year, while I'm not discounting the potential of C.J. Carr after a bye week, after a loss, finding some things he did good at to come back and if he has a really good game, maybe it's against a bad A&M defense. I don't know. But I think this is going to be a better A&M defense than what we think and than what they've shown so far. I think Aggie's going into this game with a big advantage at the QB position in terms of what they've proven, in terms of how much he's been tested, and in terms of how he's played, even against lesser competition through a couple games, because good throws are good throws. Quicker decision-making is quicker decision-making. Greater willingness to take off and run is a greater willingness to take off and run. And the leadership and poise we've seen from him. So I like that as my Freak.
And plus, Billy, you got to think about how much have we really shown on offense this year?
Yeah, hopefully not much.
A lot to dial up. And plus, he continues to score points.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's the 28 points for him in the last 2 games. I mean, that's ridiculously impressive.
I'm going to say Scooby for my Freak of the Week.
I almost went with him.
And
I like that.
His season almost was derailed because of the Notre Dame game last year. He played hurt. He played great. And I think he's going to save his best performance for Saturday.
I thought he stood out Saturday.
He did.
I want to chime in just real quick about the coolest thing that I may have ever seen on a football field, and that was that immaculate possession or whatever we want to call it by Cassius. That was just amazing watching it in person. I was just like, we'll never get to see that. I don't think you'll ever get to see that again. That was so cool.
Yeah, we were sitting with Evan Peroni, who was a defensive lineman here. He even clapped after the third one. He didn't get up out of his seat, but he did clap after the third sack. So that was pretty impressive.
Well,
it takes a lot to get him excited.
I was about to say, well, he was excited in Yellowstone until Seth almost killed him. But other than that, but yeah, like here's the deal. I was standing, Seth, right, like parallel to the line of scrimmage. I was like right straight looking down at the football, and Cassius was down on this A&M sideline. So it's really shameful on my part, I will say, shameful that after the second sack, I didn't have the foresight to record the third play, which was a definite passing down.
But that is something you would do on a normal down.
Yeah, I thought they were just going to run like a draw.
Hand it off and punt, which is what they should have done.
On that first one, he kind of had to, he worked for it, and they had some good coverage. But those next two, man, watching it from, 20 yards away, he was so quick off that. But the play was over when it was snapped in terms of his battle against that offensive tackle. It wasn't even remotely competitive. That was fun to watch. But I'll say this. If there's a freak of the week, if we did post-game freak of the weeks, if there's somebody I want to fill that role more than Marcel Reed or Le'Veon Moss, if it wasn't one of them two, I'd want it to be an A&M safety. And I don't care who. Marcus Ratcliffe could play a big role in the box, let's say, this week. But Ratcliffe, Bryce Anderson, Dalton Brooks, like somebody make a couple, not one. Like that position, give me 3 big plays from the safety position this week, along with not missing tackles and because I was talking the other day to Sean Porter. Donovan Wilson, you couldn't find who's captain for the Cowboys right now. He was this week. I don't know if they do season ones. You couldn't find a 3-game stretch in his career, 3 games, where he didn't make more big plays, impactful plays than that whole group combined. Like,
I'd agree with that.
We need impact from those safeties. And I've seen Bryce Anderson at his best. I see the improvement from Ratcliffe throughout this offseason. And then Dalton Brooks, his potential athletically, when scouts come through here, every time they text me, love 25. 25's a freak. 25's a beast. 25, don't tell anybody about him. He's so good. They all say that. Don't tell anybody. They all say it, so they all know, but they think nobody else does. But these guys have to change games in the positive. And I think it has to start this week because they're really going to be under attack against Auburn, too. Like, these guys need to have a big day Saturday night.
Amen.
All right, let's do this. Let's hit a break here, and we'll come back with Sleeper of the Week because we can't fit it in this segment, and then we'll do the Pick Six brought to you by Prize Picks here on TexAgs Live. All right, we are back here on the final countdown, brought to you by La Casa Tequila on TexAgs Live. All right, it is time now for the sleeper of the week, brought to you by the Sleep Station. Go see Jared McLeod and ask about the Tempur-Pedic or the Purple mattress in the Specs parking lot at Texas and Harvey, and in front of Lowe's at William D. Fitch on Highway 6. The website is thesleepstation.com. All right, so Steve, you are first for the sleeper of the week.
I'm going to go with Theo.
Oh.
Von Mellenstrafen.
You really painted me into a corner with that
Ostrom.
Von Mellenstrafen.
Von Mellenstrafen. I couldn't remember that last name.
Right.
I did.
And Theo.
I do like our other tight ends as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, I think Theo's the guy I want to have a breakout game on the road. I can't remember the last time we had a tight end just really go off on an important road game. I think this is
Probably
the game.
Jay Sternberger.
Yeah, probably. I mean, this is, to me, a game that you are going to need your tight ends to play a big impact in the offense. So let's go with Theo.
Okay.
Well, Steve, you took my pick, and Billy talked about every defensive player just a second ago, so I'm really in a bind. But you know what?
Every week I did one position.
You literally named everybody, dude.
I did one.
I'm picking Dalton Brooks as my sleeper pick of the week.
You can do it.
Yeah, I just like you mentioned just a second ago, you want to see that. Yeah, I want to see it. I want to hear his name called in a big, impactful way on multiple plays.
There you go.
I'm going to go on defense with Tyler Onyedim.
Who? Tyler what?
Onyedim.
Come on, Steve.
Oh, the D lineman?
From Iowa State. He had a good game in the opener, number 11.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Though you mentioned Regis, Seth. Like, those guys and DJ Hicks need to have a really good game. And I mentioned them as a sleeper because it might not show up in the stat sheet, but he might make things a lot easier on those ends and linebackers to make plays. And so I think that's my guy there. On offense, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go with a big play. Last year at Kyle Field, we talked always Jeremiah Love. Love. And it was Kadarian Price that had the big touchdown run. 43, 45 yards late in the third quarter. Yep. First touchdown by either team in the game. Made it 13-6. There'll be a lot of focus on Le'Veon Moss this week. I think he's going to carry, the bulk of the workload. Number 4 is going to get some carries. He had a 30-yarder in the opener. He had an 18-yarder the other day. I'm calling for a pop play from Reuben Owens.
Let's do it.
Pop play from Reuben Owens. A big play, whether that be a running play or catching a pass and turning it into something big.
Nice.
The one I'm going to say is not really a sleeper, but I'm going to call him a sleeper. Terry Bussey. There's going to be a lot of attention on the other wide receivers. Yeah. He's going to open up. It could be Ashton Bethel-Roman, but I think it's going to be Terry Bussey, who at the end of the day, we're like, wow, what a performance. Wow. Look lives are awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Look, this is going to be a huge weekend, and I see some of the conversations on the chat on both sides, and this outcome this weekend does not necessarily tell you what's going to happen. Like some people are saying, if they lose, 8-4, if they win, 10. But if they win, it does move the needle significantly because, again, you've exercised some demons, gotten rid of some streaks that have gone in the wrong way, and hopefully we start a new streak of beating top 10 teams on the road. Nigel, give me one chat before we go. One chat.
Somebody said, there isn't. They were talking about 8-4 and how 8-4. Some 8-4s are different than other 8-4s.
They are, but it's still 8-4.
Yeah, at the end of the day, 8-4 is 8-4.
That's going to do it for TexAgs Live here on a Friday. We'll see you tomorrow on the post-game wrap. We'll see you tomorrow on the tailgate show. We'll see you Monday on TexAgs Live. And, of course, the Luchador. Thanks to everyone listening, even Marley. We'll see you next time.
Maybe Terry Bussey does it in the return game, too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nick, how much time do we have before we have to hit a break? Because I want to ask Steve something, if you don't mind.
You got time.
Okay. You can edit that part out if you want.
Oh, you can leave it.
Okay. You can leave it? Okay. Hey, how about Hunter?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We're very excited. Obviously, Seth and me playing here and growing up Aggie fans our whole life, for Hunter, my son, to get offered a spot on the team and to decide that that's what he wanted to do was great for me.
Right.
I try not to push him one way